Hi Rainbow class, the story I've got to read for you today is called Lost and Found. Some of you might know this story already. It's by Oliver Jeffers. And what can you see on the front cover? There's some water. What are they travelling in? Who are our characters? Let's find out. Once there was a boy, and one day he found a penguin at his door. The boy didn't know where it had come from, but it began to follow him everywhere. The penguin looked sad, and the boy thought it must be lost. So the boy decided to help the penguin find its way home. He checked in the Lost and Found office, but no one was missing a penguin. He asked some birds if they knew where the penguin came from, but they ignored him. Some birds are like that. The boy asked his duck, but the duck floated away. He didn't know. That night, the boy couldn't sleep for disappointment. He wanted to help the penguin, but he didn't know how. The next morning, he discovered that penguins come from the South Pole. But how could he get there? He ran down to the harbour and asked a big ship to take them to the South Pole. But his voice was much too small to be heard over the big ship's horn. You see the tiny little boy down there, next to a great big lighthouse and an even bigger, enormous ship. The sound of that horn must be very loud, so the little boy's voice wouldn't be heard at all. So together, he and the penguin would row to the South Pole. The boy took his rowboat out of the cupboard and they tested it for size and strength. They packed everything they would need. Oh, can you see what they've packed? And together, they pushed the rowboat out to sea. They've got their oars to row with. They rowed south for many days and nights, with the boy telling stories all the way. The penguin listened to everything that the boy said. Look how small their boat is on the great big ocean and the big waves. They floated through good weather and bad. Oh, this is a big stormy wave. When the waves were as big as mountains. There's even lots of rain. Can you see the lightning? Until they got to the South Pole. The boy was delighted, but the penguin said nothing. Suddenly, it looked sad again as the boy helped it out of the boat. Here's a sign that says, "Welcome to the South Pole." Look how icy it is there. The boy said goodbye and floated away. But as he looked back, the penguin looked sadder than ever. Dear. It felt strange to be on his own. And the more he thought, the more he realised he was making a big mistake. The penguin wasn't lost. He was just lonely. Quickly, he turned the boat around and headed back to the South Pole as fast as he could. But can you see who's here? What's here? At last, he reached the pole again. But where was the penguin? The boy searched everywhere. He searched and searched, but he was nowhere to be found. What's he looking through there? Sadly, the boy set off for home. There was no point telling stories because there was no one to listen except the wind and the waves. But then the boy saw something in the water ahead of him. Closer and closer he got until he could see. I wonder who it is. penguin floating in. And he's got an oar too to help him paddle along. But he's in the umbrella. Oh, look, they've found each other again. A lovely hug. And so the boy and his friend went home together, talking of the wonderful things all the way. And look, what else is in the water underneath their boat? Can you see? Looks like whales are swimming in the sea. So the boy realised that the penguin was following him around because he wanted to be his friend. And he didn't need to go back to the South Pole. He just wanted to have a friend. So good job he found him again. And there they are together, floating in the umbrella. I wonder what you've been trying out in the water. Have you tried floating things? Have you made some junk model boats? Have you tried sailing some across a water tray or in your bath? We'd love to find out. So let us know. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.